Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Megan and I'm a small business owner and entrepreneur. Black Friday has just wrapped up and let me tell you guys, it has been the most insane week. So busy with lots of orders, which I'm super grateful for. But I filmed a little behind the scenes look into what Black Friday looked like for me, kind of just like after the sale and getting all of the orders shipped out and ready to go to their new homes. So I filmed a ton of content that I'm excited to share with you guys. So in total on Shopify, I had 122 orders with 1,138 items sold. And items sold also accounts for like the screen print transfers. So like some people would literally order like 50 screen print transfers. So that's why my item count is so high compared to my order count of 122. And then I also had my TikTok shop running Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals as well. So over on there, I got 14 orders on TikTok shop with 16 items sold. Okay, let's go dive in and see what the behind the scenes looked like for my sale. To start off the day, I began with printing out all of my shipping labels. This kind of just gives me an idea of what orders I need to make and fulfill for the day. After everything's done printing, I like to sort them into categories, so I'll make a pile for all of my crew necks and t-shirts, and then I'll make another pile for my screen print transfers or any of the transfers that I sell, and then a third pile for all of my t-shirt ruler orders. I feel like doing it this way honestly just keeps me a little bit more organized so I can focus on one thing at a time rather than hopping around to all these different products. Also, just the way that my office is set up, it kind of makes sense to start out with one category like t-shirts and crew necks and then move on to transfers and so on and so forth. Speaking of transfers, I also had a lot of orders for these Christmas sublimation prints, so I decided to get my printer kind of up and running and working on printing these out while I was working on other things. I went back to doing made-to-order shirts instead of having a bunch of inventory on hand, and that's just because the last time I ordered a bunch of inventory or made a bunch of it, I just had so much left over, and I honestly still have some of that inventory left to this day, and it's been like over a year, so I thought it would just be easier to make orders as they rolled in. So as you can see, all of the shirts that I'm pulling off these shelves are blank t-shirts, and we're going to be pressing them instead of having everything already pre-made. Since it was Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I knew I was probably going to get some orders, so I did invest in some blank shirts just to have on hand so that I was able to press those as soon as my sale was over. And the pressing process was definitely the most consuming part of the day. We had a very clear winner for which shirt was our bestseller, and that was the Christmas doodles in both the crew neck and the t-shirt version. So I had a lot of orders for these, so I started out with pressing those first, and then I kind of moved on to our other t-shirts, which included dental doodles, medical doodles, and just some various other tees and crews. A little fun fact, way back when TikTok opened their TikTok shop, the first products I listed were the Medical Doodles t-shirt and crew neck, and I ended up posting a video that got 1.6 million views, and I sold a ton of these over on TikTok shop. And ever since then, I've just kept them in my shop because they have been such a staple and a consistent seller for me, which is super awesome. Now, this is probably the second most time-consuming task of the day, which was tagging all of the t-shirts. So I just showed you guys that I pressed all of them, and then once they were pressed, I do this little iron-on tag in the inside of the collar. I know this is like the tiniest detail, but I also think it's super important to brand your apparel because a lot of customers might not remember where they got their shirts from, so this will be just kind of a reminder for them, and I also think branding it just elevates the look of a blank t-shirt. If you guys are curious about how I made these iron-on tags, I actually made a guide on how to make them, where to order them, and I also included a couple free templates that you guys can download and make your own. If you guys have been following me, you know that this is like my most favorite invention ever, and I don't think I'll ever stop talking about it, but this is my t-shirt folder, and I use this to fold all of my apparel. It just makes it so much faster, and everything looks so good and perfect every single time. Also, a little side note, I do have an Amazon storefront where I have this t-shirt folder linked along with some other supplies you've seen me use in this video so far, like the tagging gun and then those hampers I've been rolling around all video. Those are linked there as well, along with some other of my favorite small business supplies that I use pretty much on a daily. So once everything was pressed, tagged, and folded, I got to packing orders, which is my favorite part of the job. I did have quite a few orders to pack, along with a ginormous order that had 22 items. This customer is an absolute rock star. This was her 10th order, and she got 10 t-shirts and 12 crew necks. This was my second biggest order of all time, so I had to reread it like 5 times before I actually believed it, and she placed it like 5 minutes after my Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals went live. I genuinely wish you guys could have seen my face when this order rolled in. I was so shocked. I think my jaw was like actually on the floor. After I packed up all of my crew neck and t-shirt orders, I then moved on to screen print transfers. So these transfers are not the ones that I was printing in the beginning of the video. These are screen print transfers, and the ones that I was printing on my sublimation machine are sublimation transfers. I genuinely wish I knew about screen print transfers when I first opened my business, because I started out with just like a Cricut and heat transfer vinyl, but the weeding process was like so tedious and so time consuming. And then I finally found screen print transfers, and they honestly changed my life. They are so easy to use. All you need is a heat press. You literally press them for like 10 to 15 seconds and your design is finished and on the shirt. For my sale, all of my single color screen print transfers were $1, so I think people were loading up on them because it was a great deal. That pretty much summed up day 1, and now moving on to day 2, I started packing my ruler orders. I'll give you guys a little backstory on these rulers. So back in 2020, when I first started my business, I was having a heck of a time lining up my design. Like I literally, every time I would press a design, it would just be crooked. And my dad was noticing this, so he went up to his workshop and he actually made me this t-shirt ruler. And I started posting videos with it, and people were like, "Where did you get your ruler? Where did you get it?" And I would just have to say, my dad made it for me. And then after about a year, we decided to collaborate, and he actually made me like a bulk order of these rulers, and I started selling them. So ever since then, they have absolutely taken off and been one of the best selling items in my shop. And I know some of you might say that you could find these in the craft store, but the ones in the craft store are nothing like these t-shirt rulers, and I can guarantee that the quality on these are absolutely amazing. I've talked to quite a few small business owners who have ordered rulers from either Amazon or the craft store, and a lot of them tell me that the ruler actually warps under their heat press. And I can't testify to this because I have never tried them, but I promise you that these rulers are so strong and they will most definitely not warp under your press. Like I mentioned earlier, we are on day 2, so here we go again with some more t-shirt orders. This time around, though, it's a little bit different because I'm going to be working with sublimation instead of screen print transfers. And this was my final stack of orders after I was done tagging them and folding them. I didn't record the tagging and folding process because I showed you guys that earlier in the video, so here's the final look, and then I just packaged up these orders and added them to the ones I had already packaged up yesterday. Alright, now we're finally going back to my sublimation prints. Since these ones came off my personal printer, I did have to cut them myself. Once these were all cut up, I pretty much finished off my workday by packing all of my sublimation transfer orders. And then, of course, I had to spread all of my packages all over the floor so I could get some nice social media pictures. I've pretty much done this every Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so as of now, it's kind of a tradition, and I also do it when I just get a lot of orders in general because I think it's so fun and it makes for some really good content. And then lastly, I just put all my orders back in the bags and printed out a few manifests for the ladies over at USPS. And then I headed off to the post office to go drop off all of the orders. Okay, but how crazy was that? That was like at the span of 2 days in that video, and I felt like it was a very busy 2 days. Like I was pretty much working from the moment I woke up until like pretty much when I was going to bed. I'm seriously blown away by the support you guys consistently show me with either ordering or even just watching videos, commenting, liking my posts. It really does mean the world to me, and I wouldn't be able to do my job if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along on this crazy journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are seriously the best, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.